now. He's third. Hey, my heart! Cheerily, my heart! Tend to the master's whistle!
Right here! Stefano, where are you?
To cabins!
Silence! I can't! Where's the master?
Alfredo, keep below! Keep below!
Wait a minute!
Good, be patient!
Where is the master boat?
Do not hear him, you moral labor. Keep to your cabins. You do assist the storm.
Good! Yet remember whom thou hast aboard!
None that I love more than myself.
Out of our way, I say!
Yet again, what do you here? Shall we give over and drown? Do you have a mind to sink?
A pox in your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, and charitable dog!
Work you then!
All lost! All lost!
What must our mouths be called?
King and Prince at prayers. Let's assist him, for our case is theirs.
Let's take leave of him.
The will is above be done, but I would fain die a dry death!
Father! If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. Oh, I have suffered with those I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creatures in her dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee. Of thee, my dear one. Thee, my daughter. Who art ignorant of what thou art. Not knowing of whence I am, that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never middle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from me. Oh, wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have, with such provision in mine art so safely ordered, that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair bedded to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down. But thou must now know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay not yet.
Well, the hour's now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for thou was not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything, the image, tell me, that is kept with thy remembrance.
Well, 'tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 3 or 4 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst. And more, Miranda. How is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark, backward, and abysm of time? If thou rememberest before thou came here, how thou came here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan. And his only heir and princess no worse issued.
What foul play had we that we came from thence, or blessed was we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly helped hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee mark me that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next I self of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time through all the signories it was the first. And Prospero, the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity, and for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study, thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance, who to trash for overtopic, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear, that now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk and sucked my verdure out on it. Thou attendest not!
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which but by being so retired, or prized all popular rate in my false brother await an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary, as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. He, being thus lorded not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having entered truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution, and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative, hence his ambition growing. Dost thou attend me?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
Now the condition. The King of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight fated to the purpose did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness the ministers for the purpose hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Alack, for pity. I not remembering how I cried out then will cry it o'er again.
Hear it a little further, and I'll bring thee to the present business which now's upon us, without the which my story were most imperfect.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My story provokes that question, dear. They durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul limbs. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had, and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan Gonzalo, out of his charity, who, being then appointed master of this design, did give us. So of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man?
Sit still and hear the last of our sea's sorrow. Here in this land we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more prophet than other princesses can, that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for raising this storm.
No, thus far forth. By accident most strange, bountiful fortune hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience, I find my zenith doth depend on a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court not, but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. ways. Come. I'm ready now. Approach, my Ariel. Come.
All hail, grave master, grave Sir Hail. I have come to answer thy best pleasure. Be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds. To thy strongest bidding, ask Ariel and all his quality.
Hast thou spirit? Perform 2 point the tempest that I bade thee.
To every article. I boarded the king's ship. Now in the beak, ooh, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin, I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. The topmast, the bowsprit, the yards, and then meet and join. Jove's lightning, the precursors of the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight-out running were not. The fire and the cracks of the Sephora's roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble. Yea, his dread trident shake!
My brave spirit! But who was so firm, so constant, that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul but felt the fever than that, and played some tricks of desperation. Then all but the mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all afire with me, the king's son Ferdinand, with hair up steering, was the first that leapt and cried, "Oh, hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
Why, that's my spirit. But was this not nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished on their sustaining garments. Not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son I have landed by himself, whom I left cooling off the air with sighs. In an odd angle of the aisle, and sitting, his arms in the sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in the harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook, where once thou callest me up at midnight to fetch the dew from the still decks vermouths.
Oh.
Yeah, well there she's hid. The mariners, all under hatches stowed, who with a charm, joined to their suffered labor, I have left asleep. And as for the rest of the fleet that I have dispersed, they are bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw King shipwrecked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there's more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be used more preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which has not yet been performed me.
How now, moody? What is it thou canst demand?
My liberty!
Before the time be out, no more!
I pray thee, remember, I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without grudge or grumblings, and thou did promise to bait me a full year!
Dost thou forgetst from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost. And thinkest it much to tread upon the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business when the earth is baked with frost?
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
sir, in Algiers.
Oh, was she so? Now I must once in a month recount to thee what thou hast been, which thou forgetst. This damn witch Sycorax, from mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible for human hearing, from Algiers, thou knowest, was banished. For one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is this not true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant, and for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hest, she did confine thee by help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died, and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island saved, for the son she did litter here, a freckled whelp, hag-born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He, that Caliban, that now I keep in service, thou best know what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breaths of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art when I arrived and heard thee that made gape the pine and let thee out. If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I'll be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master! What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go, make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine. Be invisible to every eyeball else. Go, make thyself into this shape. Come hither in it. Go, hence with diligence. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well, awake.
The strangest of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. Come. Slave. Caliban. Thou earth, thou speak.
There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee. Come. Thou tortoise, win.
This island's mine. By Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou first came, thou stroked me and made much of me, and gave me water with berries in it, and taught me how to name the bigger light and how the less that burned by day and night. And then I loved thee and showed thee all the qualities of the isle. The fresh springs, brine pits, barren place and fertile. Cursed be I that did so! Oh, the charms of Sycorax. Toads, beetles, bats, light on you! For I am all the subjects that thou have. And then you sty me in this hard rock. Wilt thou to keep me from the rest of the island?
Thou most lying slave. whom stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee. Filth as thou art with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
If it had been done, thou didst prevent me. I would have peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Lord slave, hag seed. Hence, fetch us in fuel and be quick. If thou neglects, or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with cramps. Fill all thy bones with aches. And make thee roar, that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee.
So, slave, hence! Hence!
Feelings, nothing more than feelings. Come into these yellow sands, and then take hands, curtsied when you do, and kissed. The wild waves whist, footed featly here and there, and sweet sprites, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Where should this music be? Is it the air or the earth? It sounds no more, yet sure it waits upon some god of the island. It begins again.
Curtsied when you do, and kissed. My father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Ding dong. Hark, I hear them. Ding dong bell.
This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringed curtains of thine eyes advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What? Is it a spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form. But 'tis a spirit.
Oh, wench, it eats and sleeps and has such senses as we have. Such. This gallant, which thou seest, was in the rag, and but he's something stained with grief. That's beauty's canker. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine. For nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll set thee free within 2 days for this.
Most sure, the goddess on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer may know that if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language? Heavens, I'm the best of them that speak this speech where it's spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the king of Naples heard thee?
A single thing as I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes beheld the king, my father, racked.
Alack, for mercy.
Yes, faith in all his lords, and the Duke of Milan.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee if now 'twere fit to do it. At the first sight, the changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the first man that I saw, the first that I heard sighed for. Pity move my father to be inclined my way.
If a virgin and your affection not gone forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
Soft, sir. One more word. They are both in either's powers. But this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word more, sir. I charge thee that thou dost attend me. Thou thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and put thyself on this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirits have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell within it.
Follow me. Come. I'll medical thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots, and husks wherein the acorn cradled. Come.
No, I will resist such entertainment until mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
Put thy sword up, traitor, who makest a show but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for I can here disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father!
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thinkest thou that there are no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban? Foolish wench! To the most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on. Obey. Thy nerves are in thy infancy again, and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wrack of all my friends, nor this man's threats to whom I'm subdued are but light to me. Might I but once a day, through my prison, behold this maid.
It works. Come on. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me. Hark what thou else shalt do me.
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwanted which now came from him.
Thou shalt be as free as mountain winds, but then do exactly all points of my command. Come, follow. Speak not for him.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all of joy. For our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day, some sailor's wife or the master of some merchant and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean, our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then, wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him or so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his whip. By and by it'll strike.
Sir,
One, tell.
when every grief is entertained that's offered, comes to the entertainer,
$1?
dolor comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than thou purposed.
You have taken it wiser than I meant you should.
Therefore, good sir,
Spendthrifty is of his tongue.
Prithee, spare.
well, I have done. But yet,
He will be talking.
Which, for a good wager, of here Francisco first begins to crow.
The old cock.
The cock.
Done. The wager?
A laughter.
A match. Though this island seemed to be desert, so you're paid.
Uninhabitable and almost inaccessible.
Yet,
He could not miss it.
It needs be of subtle, tender, and a delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
I am subtle, as he most learnedly delivered,
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
as if it had lungs, and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
That there's none. Little.
Look how lush and lusty the grass looks, how green.
The ground is indeed tawny.
Yes, with an eye of green in it.
He misses not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally,
But the rarity of it is
as many vast rarities are.
that our garments, being as they were drenched in the sea, hold. I mean, notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, but being rather new-dyed.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are as fresh as when we put them on first in Afric at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Clarabelle to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
What impossible matter will he make easy next?
I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it his son for an apple.
And sowing the kernels of it in the sea, bring forth more islands.
Aye.
Why, in good time.
Sir, we were just talking that our garments seemed as fresh as they were at Tunis when we wore them for the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. Sir, is not my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? In a sort? When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
Oh, you cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. When I have never married my daughter there, for coming thence, I have lost my son. And in my rate, she too, who is so far from Italy removed that I shall never see her again. Oh, thou mine heir, of Naples and Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod water, whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bold head above contemptuous waters he kept, and oared himself with good arms in lusty stroke to the shore. I've no doubt he came alive to land.
No, no, he is gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss that would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she is banished from your eye, who hath cause to wet the grief on it.
Prithee, peace.
You were kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself, weighed between loathness and obedience, at which end of the beam should bow. We have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows of this business making than we bring men to comfort them. Fault's your own.
So is the dearest soul lost.
My Lord Sebastian, the truth you speak lacks gentleness and a time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
My lord, had I plantation of this isle, my lord?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always use to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we were laughing at.
Who in this merry kind of fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue laughing and laugh at nothing still.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
Nay, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy.
Go sleep, and hear us.
What? All so soon asleep? Oh, I wish mine eyes were with themselves. Shut up my thoughts! I find that they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. Seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest, and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth not our eyelids sink? I feel not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. What might, worthy Sebastian, what might? No more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks to me, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Did you not hear me speak?
I do. And surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep.
What is it thou didst say? This is a strange repose. To be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lettest thy fortune sleep. Die, rather. Wink while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too. Which to do trebles the oar.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish while thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing men most often do so near the bottom, run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory when he is earthed, hath here almost persuaded, for he's a spirit of persuasion, only professes to persuade the king his only son's alive. 'Tis as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Out of that no hope, what great hope of you? No hope? That way is another way, so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wink beyond, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is Queen of Tunis? She that dwells 10 leagues beyond a man's life? She that can have no note from Naples, unless the sun were post, because the man in the moon's too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable. She that from whom we were all sea-swallowed, though some cast again, and by that great destiny, to perform an act of what's past is prologue, what's to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Clarabelle measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them. They were no worse than they are now. There be that can rule Naples as easily as he that sleeps. Lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself could make a crow speak wisely. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What a sleep this were for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tend to your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments fit upon me. Much feeder than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience?
Aye, where lies that? If 'twere chill, 'twould put me to my slipper. But I feel not this deity in my bosom. 20 consciences stand twixt me and Milan. Candid be they, melt ere they molest. There be your brother, who lies no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead. Whom I? But this obedient steel can lay to rest forever, whiles you, doing thus, to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou goddess Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest. And I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear thy hand, do you the like, Pon Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
My master through his heart foresees the danger that you his friend are in, and sends me forth, or else his project dies to keep them living. Why you here do snoring lie? Open-eyed conspiracy is time to take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware.
Then let us both be sudden.
Awake! Awake!
Now, good angels, preserve the king!
How now? Why are you drawn?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls, or rather lions. And did it not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
Oh, 'twas a din to fight a monster's ear. To make an earthquake. It was, the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Lead off this ground and search for my poor son.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. King, go safely on to seek thy son.
Oh, the infections the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats on Prosper Fall, and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me. And yet, I needs must curse, but they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, pitch me in the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle, are they set upon me? Sometimes, like apes that do mow and chatter at me, and after bite me. And then, like hedgehogs, which lie tumbling in my barefoot way and mount their bricks at my footfalls. Sometime, I am all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. No, no. There is a spirit of his come to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat. Perchance he will not hit me.
There's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. Another storm brewing, I hear it sing in the wind. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. What have we here? Man or a fish? Dead or alive? Oh, fish. Smells like a fish. Oh, very ancient and fish-like smell. Kind of not of the newest Poor John. A strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, ha! Not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver. There! Would this monster make a man? Well, there any strange beast makes a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. It's legged like a man, and his fins are like arms. It's warm in my trough. Do let loose my opinion, hold it no longer, this is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered from a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep beneath his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. Here will I shroud till the dregs of the storm be over.
Here shall I die as no more. This is a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. Oh, the master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his mate, loved Mal and Meg and Marion, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, which cried with the bird of a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor pit, yet a tailor might scratch her where'er she did itch. Then to sea, boys, and let her go hang. It's a scurvy tune, too. But here's my comfort.
Do not torment me!
What's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon us? With men of India and savages? I've not escaped drowning to be afeard now of your 4 legs. Now, for it hath been said, as proper man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground, and it shall be said so again as long as Stephanol breathes from nostrils.
The spirit torments me!
This is some monster of the Isle with 4 legs who hath got, as I take it, an ague. I will give him some relief if it be but for that. Oh, if I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him. Yeah, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather. He shall taste of my bottle. If he had never had wine afore, it will go near to remove his fit. Oh, if I can recover him and keep him tame, I won't take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and that soundly.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt. Thou dwelt anon, I know it, by thy trembling. Now, prosper works upon thee.
Come on your ways. Open your mouth. Yeah. Here's that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking, I can tell you, and that soundly. You cannot tell who's your friend, huh? Now open those chops again.
I should know that voice. It should be. But he's dead. Drowned. And these are devils. All defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices? A most delicate monster. His forward voice is to speak well of his friend. And his backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. I will pour some in thy other mouth. Come on. Come. Amen. Let thy other mouth call me. No, this is a devil. No monster. The Isle. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stefano! Thou beest, Stefano. Touch me! Speak to me! For I am Trinculo, be not afeard. Thy good friend, Trinculo!
Thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I will pull thee by thy lesser legs. Ah, thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this moon cap? Hey, can't he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed by a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned? I hope thou art not drowned, Stefano. Has a storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living on, Stefano? To Neapolitan scape. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Prithee now, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
Oh.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god, and there's celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape?
Well-
How camest thou hither?
Well-
Now swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. Here, swear then how thou escaped.
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn. Here, kiss the book. Oh.
Although thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano. Hast any more of this?
Oh, the whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man out of the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee and thy dog and thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have feared of him. A very weak monster. The man in the moon. Oh, most poor, credulous monster. Well drawn, monster. Good suit.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. Prithee, be my god.
By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When his god's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll pluck thee berries, I'll fish for thee, I'll get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, the wondrous man.
Oh, ridiculous monster to make a wonder out of a poor drunkard.
I prithee now, lead the way without any more talking. Trinculo, the king and all our company, else being drowned, we will inherit here. Bear my bottle, fellow Trinculo. We'll fill him again by and by.
Farewell, master. Farewell, farewell. No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetch and firing, yet requiring no scrape trenchering, nor wash dish. Bang, 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 calaban. Get a new master, find a new man. Freedom. Hayday, hayday. Freedom, freedom. Hayday, freedom.
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
Be some sports are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. She is 10 times more gentle than her father's, crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My mistress weeps when she sees me work and says such baseness had never seemed like executor. I forget, but these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busiest when I do it.
Alas. Now pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burned up those logs you are enjoined to pile. Pray now set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
My dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
Precious creature. I would sooner crack my sinews and break my back than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you. And I should do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I may set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. My father, I broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration. Worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady have I eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women. Never any with such full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed and put it to the foil. But you, it's so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I do not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I there and do forget.
I am, in my condition, a prince, Miranda. I do not think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than suffer the flesh fly blow in my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service, and therein resides to make me slave to it. And it is for your sake that I am this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven, oh, earth, bear witness to this sound, and crown what I say with kind event if I speak true. If hallowly, invert what is best boded me to mischief. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, and honor you.
Oh, I'm a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, nor much less take what I shall die to want. No, this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning and prompt to me, plain and holy innocence. I am your wife. If you will marry me, if not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My dear mistress, and I am thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
With a heart as willing as bondage e'er of freedom, here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell. Until half an hour hence?
1,000.
So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Tell not me. When the butt is out, we will drink water, not a drop before. Therefore, bear up and boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this island. They say there be but 5 upon this isle. We are 3 of them. The other 2 be brain like us, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set at thy head.
Where should they be set otherwise? You're a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
Ooh, my monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore, 35 leagues off and on by this light. Ugh. Thou shalt be my lieutenant My monster or my standard?
You're a lieutenant if you list. He's no standard.
Will not run, Monsieur Monster.
Not go, neither. But you lie like dogs and yet say nothing, neither.
Mooncalf, speak for once in thy life if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy eye let me lick thy shoes?
Yeah.
I'll not serve him. He is not valiant.
Why thou, debauched fish, thou? Was ever a man a coward that hath drunk as much sack as I today? Wilt thou make a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
No! Oh, he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Oh, well, again! Bite him to death, I prithee!
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer the next tree, the poor monster is my servant, and he shall not suffer indignity.
Thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Marry will I. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that through his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him once more in story by this hand, I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Mum then, and no more.
I say, by sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy goodness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayest knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pidenin is this, thou scurvy catch! I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he'll drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. If you trouble the monster any more, by this hand I will knock my mercies out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
What said I? I said nothing.
Now stand farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest!
So do I. Take you that. As you like it, give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie out of your wits, and hearing too, pox of your bottle. This will sack and drinking do. I'm your reign of your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Forward now with your tail. Prithee, stand further off.
Beat him enough. After a while, I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Come. Proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom of his in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayest brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his weasand with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books, his brave utensils, for so he calls them, which when he has a house he'll deck withal, And that, most deeply to consider, is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax, my dam, and she. But she, as far surpasses Sycorax, as greatest does least.
Is this so brave a lass?
Oh, Lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I shall be king and queen. Save our graces. And Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I'm sorry that I beat thee. But while thou livest, keep a good tongue in your head.
Within a half hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye.
This will I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Wilt thou troll the catch you taught me but while there?
Oh, at thy request, I will do reason, any reason. Come on, Trinculo, let us sing.
Flottum, scottum, scottum, flottum, scot is free. Hey! Flottum, scottum, 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 flot is free.
That's
Hey!
not the tune.
What is the same?
This is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody.
If thou beest a man, show thyself in thy likeness. But if thou beest a devil, take it as thou list.
Forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts. I defy thee, mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No. Monster. Not I.
Be not afeard. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me. That when I wake, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me where I shall have my music for nothing.
And Prospero is destroyed.
Aye, that will be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it and do our work after.
Lead, monster. We'll follow.
Wilt come? I'll follow, Stefano.
By your lake, sir, I can go no further. My bones ache me. Here is a maze trod indeed with forthrights and meanders. By your patience, I needs must rest me.
Oh Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He is gone. whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, he is gone.
I am right glad that he is so out of hope. Do not for one repulse, forgo the purpose that you resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight. For they are oppressed with travail. They cannot nor will not be as vigilant as when they are fresh.
I say tonight. No more.
What harmony is this? Friends, hark!
Mark the sweet music.
Give us, kind keepers, heavens! What were these?
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, a phoenix throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there.
I'll believe both. And what does else want credit?
If in Naples I should report this here, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders? For certes, these are people of the isle, who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet note, their manners are more gentle, kind than any of our human generation you shall find. Many, nay, almost any.
No matter, since they've left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Wilt thou taste of this?
Oh, not I.
Faith, you need not fear, sir.
I will stand to and feed. Although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and all that's in it, the never suffited sea has caused to belch up you. And on this most desolate isle, where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even such like valor men hang and drown their proper selves. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child. For which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways. whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle, else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
My high charms work. And these, mine enemies, are all knit up in their distractions. They now are in my power. And in these fits, I'll leave them. While I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine love darling.
In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous. Monstrous! Methought the billows spoke and told me of it, and the winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, had pronounced the name Prosper.
But one fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions over.
I'll be their second.
Follow, I pray you.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here 1/3 of mine own life. Of that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here, afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast her off. For thou shalt find that she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then, it's my gift, and thine own acquisition worthily purchased. Take my daughter, but if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow. But barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamps shall light.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue and long life with such love as 'tis now. The murkiest den, the most opportune place. The strongest suggestion our worser genius can shall never melt mine honor into lust. To take away the edge of that day's celebration when I shall think, or Phoebus' steeds foundered, or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What? Ariel! My industrious servant, Ariel!
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble, or whom I give thee power, here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently,
I, with a twink.
before you can say come and go and breathe twice and cry so, each one tripping on his toe, we'll be here with mop and mow.
Love me, master?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel. Do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look, thou be true. Do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire in the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warn you, sir, the white, cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well. Now come, Ariel. Appear and pertly. Bring a corollary rather than want a spirit. No tongue. All eyes. Be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. Her peacocks fly amain. Approach, rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, who ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter. Why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short grass green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate upon the blessed lovers.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
How does my bounteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, so that they may prosperous be, and honored in their issue.
Oh, okay.
5, 6, 7, 8. Up.
Honor, riches, marriage, blessings on continuance and increasingly hourly joy be still upon you, and you, and you, and you, and you. No, sings her blessing on you, and you. No, on you, and you, and you. What?
Earth's increase, bless and plenty, bond and daughter, never empty. Gardens with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly birth and bowing. Spring, come to at the farthest in the valley of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres' blessing so is on you.
On you.
This is a most majestic vision and harmonious charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare and wondrous a father and a wise make this place paradise.
Oh, sweet, now silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else the spell is marred. Don't stop. Don't stop. I forgot the foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done! Avoid! No more! No more!
This is strange. Your father's in a passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You to look, my son, like you were in a moved sort. Like you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels are now ended. And these our actors, as I foretold you, we're all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself. And all which it inherit. Shall dissolve. And like the insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. And our little life is rounded with sleep. Sir, I'm vexed. Bear with me, my weakness. My whole brain is troubled. Do not be disturbed by my infirmity. If it please you, retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk and still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Thank thee. Ariel, come. Come.
Like thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, my commander. When I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking. So full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces and beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending toward their project. Then I beat my tabor, and like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses as they smelled music. So I charmed their ears. They my lowing followed through tooth briars, sharp furzies, pricking gauze, and thorns that entered their frail shins. At last, I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to their chins at the foul lake oversunk their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible, retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither. For stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
Devil. A born devil on whose nature nurture can never stick. On whom my pains humanely taken lost. All lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring. Come, hang them on this line.
Tread softly, that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We now are near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than play the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, look you,
Thou
it goes
wert
hard.
but a lost monster.
Good my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore, speak softly. All's hushed as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool.
There is not only disgrace and dishonor in that, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wedding. Yet this is your harmless fairy, monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er my ears for my labor.
Shh! Brethren, be quiet. Seest thou here? That is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and I, thy Caliban pry, thy footlicker.
Oh, Pierre!
Give me thy hand.
Oh,
Begin to have
worthy
bloody
Stefano, look! Look! What a wardrobe here is for thee!
Leave it alone, thou fool! It is but trash!
Hey! Monster, we know what belongs to a frippery. King Stefano!
Put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand I shall have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
The dropsy, drown this fool! What do you mean to dote us on such luggage? Leave it alone and do the murder first! If he awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Mistress Line, is not this the jerkin? Now is the jerkin under the line? Now, jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and thus prove a ball, jerkin.
Do we steal by line and level, and like your grace?
I thank thee for that jest. Wit shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country. Steal by line and level. A most excellent passive pace.
Monster, come put some lime upon thy fingers and away with the rest.
I will have none on it. We shall lose our time, and all be turned to barnacles, or to apes with foreheads villainous, low.
Help carry this away where my hogshead of wine is, or I will turn you out of the country. Go to. And then carry this.
Aye, and this.
Aye, and this.
Hey, Mountain, hey! Go! Charge my goblins that they grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more spotted make them than Bard or Cat Mountain. I play Let them be hunted soundly! At this hour lies at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors end, and thou shalt have the air and freedom. For little follow and do me service. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when first I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave charge, just as you left. All prisoners, sir, in the lion grove which weather fends your cell. They cannot budge until you're released. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly him who you term the good old Lord Gonzalo. Tears roll down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works them that if now you beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
Then mine shall. As thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions. I shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish all as sharply passionate as they, be kindlier moved than thou art. Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick. With my nobler reason, 'gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They, being penitent, the sole purpose of my fury doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break. Their senses I'll restore. And they shall be themselves.
I'll go fetch them, sir.
Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. You demi-puppets, that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites. And you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew. By whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azure vault, set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong-based promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves, at my command, have waked their sleepers, oped and let them forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. Comforter to an unsettled fancy. Cure thy brains, now useless, boiled within thy skull. There stand, for you are all spell stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes, even sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. The charm dissolves apace, and as the morning steals into the night, melting into the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him thou followest, I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood. You, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, whom with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide shall shortly fill the reasonable shores that now lie foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me. Ariel, I will discase me and myself present as I was sometime in Milan. Quickly, my spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Merrily, merrily will I live now under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So. To the king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners sleep under the hatches. The master and the boatswain, being awake, enforce them to this place. And presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me and return before your pulse twice beat.
Ah. Torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body. And to thee and thy company, I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest Prospero or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late have I been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood. And since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, which I fear a madness has held me. This must crave, and this be it all, a most strange story. Thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat me thou pardon my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age. Whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends, all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time, I'll tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them. Oh, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know you must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were wrecked upon the shore, where I have lost. How sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, whose soft grace for the like loss, I have her sovereign aid and rest myself content.
You the like loss?
As great to me as late. For supportable to make the dear loss, I have much weaker means than you make call to comfort you. For I've lost my daughter.
A daughter? Oh, heavens. That they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. That they were, I wish myself were muddied in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In the last Tempest. I perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason and scarce think their eyes do offices of truth. Their words are natural breath, but howsoever you have been justled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very Duke which was thrust forth of Milan, whom most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked, was landed to be the lord on it. No more yet of this, but 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This cell's my court. Here have I few attendants and subjects, none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing. At least bring forth the wonder to content ye as much as me, my dukedom.
A most high miracle.
My lord, you play me false.
My dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about. Saith, how camest you here?
Wonder. How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that hath severed us and brought us together?
Sir, she is mortal. But by immortal providence, she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I've heard such renown but never saw before, of whom I've received a second life, and second father this lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly it will sound that I must ask my child for forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere thus. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown. For 'tis you that have chalked forth the way that brought us hither.
I say amen, Gonzalo.
Look, sir, here are more of us.
Tricksy spirit.
I prophesied that if there were gallows on land, this fellow would not drown. Hast thou no mouth by land? What's the news?
Well, the best news is that we've safely found our king and
That's all done?
company.
Bravely, my
Next, our
diligence.
ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight and yar and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
This is a stranger maze as e'er men trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not invest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable, of every these happened accidents. Till then, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares, my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that, you remember now.
Every man ship for all the rest of us, no man take care for himself. For all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
These be true spies, which I wear in my head. This is a goodly sight.
Oh, Tempest! Oh, how fine my master is. Oh, I am afraid he will chastise me. I shall be pinched to death.
Where did they find this grand liquor that hath gilded them? How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since you saw me last that I fear me will never out my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano. I am but a cramp.
This is the strangest thing as e'er men looked on.
He is as disproportionate in his manners as he is in his shape. Go, sir, to my cell, and take with you your companions, and as you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
I will, and will be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool!
Go to. Away! Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
I invite your highness and his train into my cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night. Which part of it I shall waste with such discourse as I not doubt shall make it waste quick away the story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came into this cell. And in the morn, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloveds solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the year strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise thee calm seas, auspicious gales, and sails so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. My Ariel. Chick. That is thy charge. And then to the elements, be free. And fare thou well. Please you, draw near. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now, I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair. Unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.
Razor wire, sword and stone, get me from my righteous home. White magic cast in time, spawn for my peace of mind. Be still and listen now, no need to speak at all. A candle speaks of a rich reward. Deep within the castle walls, but all I see are the storms that brood in front of me, and sweet revenge has this monumental edge, and I would never have thought that I could get to mercy now. Change of heart, flesh and bone, forgiveness conquers, sword and stone. with